You know, when you see a MrBeast video and it has hundreds of millions of views, what's the first thing you think? Is it just insane luck? A one-off viral hit? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and show you that it's not magic. It's a machine. This is the playbook for engineering virality. Let's dive in.
So that's really the big question, isn't it? It's so easy to look at this kind of massive success and just write it off as chance. But the truth is, behind every single one of those viral hits, there's a deliberate, repeatable system. And our goal here is to break that system down for you piece by piece. And it all starts with this one single-minded philosophy. Seriously, this isn't just some catchy phrase, it's the law that governs every single decision they make. In a world with infinite content, your attention is the only currency that matters. If you can't hold it, your message, your effort, your money, it's all completely worthless.
Okay, so how do you even start to earn that attention? Well, it all comes down to a single moment, that split-second decision to click. This is the first, and honestly, the most important battle you have to win.
Let's break down the science of that click. On the left, you've got what most people do, right? A vague title, a kind of blurry, uninteresting image. It's just forgettable noise. But on the right, you see the playbook in action. A simple question that sparks instant curiosity, and it's paired with a high-contrast image showing a clear, expressive human face. Our brains are literally hardwired to notice faces and emotion. It's an old survival instinct. He just exploits that wire. So the big takeaway here is that your title and thumbnail are not just descriptions, they're high-stakes advertisements. They have to scream the answer to this one question. Not why should I care eventually, but why should I care right now? Think about it. In a feed that's jam-packed with options, your content has to feel urgent and absolutely unmissable. Okay, so they clicked. You won the first battle. But the war for their attention, it has just begun. Now you're facing the most brutal battlefield of all, the first 5 seconds, which is where the vast majority of viewers just leave. And this is where the old rulebook just gets thrown straight out the window. Think about what's missing. There's no fancy animated logo. No, hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Every single one of those things is a signal to the viewer that you're about to waste their time. And in today's attention economy, that's the ultimate sign of disrespect. Instead, the strategy is completely counterintuitive. You show the climax at the very beginning. You see the explosion. You see the $1 million prize. You see the final, most exciting moment, all within seconds. It's such a powerful hook because it instantly creates this gap in your mind. You just have to stay and find out how in the world they got there. It's pure, uncut adrenaline from the very first frame. And look, this is the result. The retention curve for an average video looks like a cliff. People tune out almost immediately. But with this method, you get this high, flat line. Viewers are locked in right from the start, and that sends a massive signal to the platform. And that signal is what we call algorithm rocket fuel. I mean, when the platform's algorithm sees a high click-through rate from your title and thumbnail, and then combines that with incredibly high initial retention, it basically concludes one thing. Whoa, people love this. And then it immediately starts pushing your video out to millions more people. It's that simple. So, you've got the click, and you've hooked them. Awesome. Now, how do you keep them watching for 15, 20, even 30 minutes? You do it by building unstoppable momentum. Let's take a look at how that engine really works. The whole foundation of this momentum is radical simplicity. Here's the rule. If your idea can't be explained in a single simple sentence, it's too complicated. Just think, last person to take their hand off this car wins it. Anyone, anywhere in the world speaking any language gets that instantly. It removes all the friction.
And this, right here, is the golden formula that powers the content. It's not about complex ideas. It's about taking an almost childishly simple concept, like a game of tag or hide and seek, and then executing it on a scale so extreme it becomes a total spectacle. Tag for $1 million. Hide and seek in an entire football stadium. The simplicity makes it easy to get, but the extremity makes it impossible to forget.
And it's all structured through what you could call a forced momentum loop. You start with that simple challenge. But then, and this is critical, every few minutes you increase the stakes. You add more money, you throw in a surprising new rule, or you put the contestants under way more psychological pressure. The game is constantly evolving to become harder, and, of course, way more rewarding. The psychological effect of this is so powerful. It actually conditions you, the viewer, to believe that the next moment is always going to be bigger than the last. So leaving feels like a risk, like you're about to miss out on the best part. A flat, predictable ending is never, ever an option. The
The final payoff has to be the single biggest moment of the entire video.
All right, now for the part of the system that really separates the pros from the amateurs. This whole creative machine isn't run on gut feelings or ego. Nope, it's powered by cold, hard data. It's a science.
You know, most creators operate on what I'd call a guess and hope model. They have an idea they think is good, they make it, and then they just kind of hope it works. The MrBeast model is test and measure. Every single idea is a hypothesis. Every video is a carefully constructed experiment that's designed to produce data.
And they are absolutely obsessed with analyzing that data. They study the exact second viewers get bored and click away. They find the moments that people rewind to watch again, because that's where the magic is hiding. They'll test dozens of different titles and thumbnails before a video even goes live, just to see which one performs even a tiny fraction of a percent better. But the key here, really, is the mindset shift. A video that underperforms isn't an emotional failure. It's simply a data point. It's an incredibly valuable piece of information that tells you what doesn't work, which lets you refine the system and make the next video even better. Ego is completely taken out of the equation. So let's bring this all together. When you really look at all the different pieces, it becomes crystal clear that this level of success is no accident. It is meticulously engineered.
He isn't lucky. He is obsessed. Obsessed with holding your attention for just one more second. Obsessed with making an idea 1% simpler. Obsessed with understanding what the data is screaming at him. That obsession, applied consistently over years and years, is what builds the machine. And these are the 5 pillars that hold the whole thing up. Number 1, an absolute obsession with retention. 2, radically simple ideas. 3, weaponizing curiosity to get the click. 4, constant escalation of the stakes. And 5, letting data, not your ego, drive every single decision. You know, the biggest takeaway from all of this is that virality isn't some magical, unpredictable force of nature. It's a system. It's a system of rules and principles that govern human attention. And the most beautiful thing about a system is that it can be learned, it can be practiced, and yes, it can be repeated. These principles, capturing attention, simplifying ideas, creating momentum, using data, they apply to so much more than just a single platform. They apply to business, to marketing, to education, really to anything you want to build in a world that is drowning in noise. So now that you have the playbook, the only question left is, what are you going to build with it?